He screamed, "Love you," down the stairs. No, because he's like, sounds like an idiot. You pushed the wrong button. We do love each other most days. Today we're going to talk about self-limiting beliefs, because I think that's where we get caught up in a lot, is our self-limiting beliefs, because we have set these like boundaries in our life that we can't do something, or that we're only capable of doing some things. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And it's going to be short, and we're going to talk about some goals, because we are in September, which means we are we're going into the fourth quarter. October will start the fourth quarter. And most people around now are giving up, right? Most people don't push in the fourth quarter because they've either accomplished their goals for the year, so they're like, man, smooth sailing, we're going to go from here. Or they realize their goals are so far out, they're not going, they just say like, well, I'm not going to hit it, so why try? Or third, right? Holidays are coming up and all that, and it's a busy time, so it can be tough because like, Halloween's coming up, Thanksgiving, it just like we keep getting hit. And so the first part about self-limiting beliefs is acknowledging you have them, right? So the big thing is just admitting. So if you have a piece of paper around, or your phone or something, or if you are, your hands are full with a small child, you can think about them. But the big thing is, I just want you to take about 3 minutes, and I just want you to think about those self-limiting beliefs. Your self-limiting beliefs could be, I can't be a successful coach, or I won't ever be a stay-at-home, like I'll never make enough to be a stay-at-home mom, or like, I can't do XYZ because of this, or I can't, like I think of Angie as an ag teacher, like we won't win Parley because my kids, like we can't win this because this school always wins, or like we can't do this, we can't do that, I don't have enough time, my husband doesn't help me enough, XYZ. So just take 3 minutes and kind of think of those self-limiting beliefs that hold you back. Okay, just take a minute and wrap that up. Okay. So the second part to pushing past our self-limiting beliefs is finding the reason behind it. So for example, right, it might be that you're scared to be vulnerable on Instagram because what if someone says X, Y, and Z, right? I think of Candace for a long time. She never really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Like the thought of being home with her children all day, every day, like freaked her out, because she's like, I like my humans, but I don't like them that much to like be around them 24/7. And so for a long time, she didn't want to post anything about that. And it's like, well, what if people are in the same boat as you, right? And so maybe like I wrote down, right, I will get successful. I'm successful now, but I'll get stuck and I won't move my business forward. Or I don't have time, right? I've been there before. Like what is the reasoning behind your limiting belief? Is it because someone said something to you once? Is it because something happened in your childhood that made you believe that, right? Like for a long time, I never stuck with anything. So story time. When I was in middle school, I started, or even younger, when I was 5 years old, I started hockey, because in Minnesota, that's like what everyone does. And so I started, little pipsqueak hockey, went to practice, did it again when I was 6, didn't really like it. I didn't like going to practice every day. I didn't like sweating, and I didn't like working hard. And so I convinced my parents to let me quit, and I quit. Well, then fast forward a few years, got to high school, wanted to play sports, signed up to play hockey because I played hockey when I was little. And I realized I was like way further behind everyone else, because they played, the girls I played with when I was 5 years old played every single year until high school. And so then I looked like a dweeb because I couldn't play. And then you think of band. I quit band my junior year. It's just like I got to college and people were like, what are you good at? And I'm like, I don't really know, because I never stuck with anything long enough to like figure out if I was good at it. So when I look here and I look at like, I'll get stuck, or like, I don't know if I'll coach forever or whatever, a lot of that comes from because I never have made myself stick with anything, and whenever it got tough, I just quit. So I'm worried, like, what happens when coaching gets tough? What happens when the people aren't rolling in and, it's crickets? And so I just want you to take a minute and just think about, like, what is the reason behind your belief, and what do we need to think about instead to push past that? So just take a minute and think about that. Okay. Stop. I always set so many timers. And then, okay, so number 3 is, this is the hard part, right? It's just simply understanding they're not true, right? Like here, I wrote down, I don't have time, because right now, like, even in our groups, right? Like Jess has been like, how's getting your tracker done? And I'm like, I haven't had time. And I'm like, Brianna, like, you have time, you just don't use your time the way you should. Or, maybe your self-limiting belief is that I don't have anything that people want to hear, right? Like I don't have the things that people need to hear in my Instagram posts, or I don't have value I can add. But most of those appear just because we have a bad experience, right? Most of them appear because one person makes a snarky comment. Someone made a snarky comment to you in college, or someone made a snarky comment to you about, I think of this, sorry, Ange, again, going to use a story of you, right? Some girl told Angie, like, you could really tone down like your fitness on your Instagram, right? And so Angie could have been like, oh my goodness, like, self-limiting belief, like, I post too much about fitness, I need to tone it back because my followers don't like it, and I'm going to lose people if I don't stop posting about fitness. That's where she could have went with it, because your brain just automatically shuts down to the idea of it being possible, right? Or I even have on here, like, I won't be able to quit teaching, because now I've kind of got it stuck in my mind that teaching isn't a permanent thing for me anymore. It's kind of the day job is getting me to the dream job. is what I've heard before and is kind of my mindset right now. But essentially, like, coaching is, I mean, 100% is just shifting your mindset, right? Shifting your mindset to say you can do it. And the way we do that is by number 4, arming ourselves with new beliefs. So I don't know how many of you guys did Bar Blend, and if you have the affirmation cards, I know Angie does, right? Yeah. I don't know if you have these. If you don't, order them off Beachbody. I think they're $20, and maybe as a coach they're like $15, I think. These, I still go through these every single day. So I know a lot of you guys write affirmations in the morning or write in your journal. I go through these cards every single day. Yeah, Angela's got them out. And so these cards are literally the best thing of my life. I love them. And now I adapt them, right? So I used to just write what it says, like, I am ready. I can handle anything life throws at me. Now I say, I am ready. And then whatever that means in my heart and in my soul. And it's just helped me so much, because even like, I'm going to kind of bring this around to, like, right, Satan is trying to tell us a lot of things in life, and he's going to tell us we are not worthy. We are not able to be successful. Right. You can't handle having a baby and running a business and running around other kids and, you know, trying to teach and do all this stuff. And we forget to arm ourselves with the things God says about us, like, even just in life, right? Like, a lot of us maybe started Beachbody because we were at a place where we didn't like our body. Like, we weren't happy with where our body was, and we weren't listening to the fact of, like, now a lot of us have come to terms with, like, you are a beautiful daughter of God, and that's where we're at now. But we kind of had to work through that on our own. And so I just highly encourage you to arm yourself with new beliefs. Like, if your belief is like, right on here is number 3, I'm stuck and can't grow my following on Instagram because I've been kind of like really haven't been getting more followers. Okay. So I'm probably going to write an affirmation of, like, I have things people need to hear, and I will continue to grow my following, because whatever you are telling yourself is what's going to happen. We've talked about it before with, like, the universe gives you what you put out there. So if you even, like, bring it back to the whole thing of, like, I just reference, I don't know, Christian beliefs a lot, but whatever you're doing to others is what you're going to get back. So if you're being nice to people, obviously you're going to get nice people back. But if you're putting out in the universe that you're not ever, you know, if Angie just keeps saying, like, man, we're not going to win Parley, we're not going to win Parley. Well, they're probably not going to win it because they don't have the mindset for it. And so that's just what I think of. Or even like Mackenzie and I'm sure you have to tell your kids, like, you can do it, like, right there, I can't do it. And you're like, yes, you can. And so we got to do that for ourselves. Cause I even catch myself doing it, like looking at some of the things on this board, and I'm like, man, I wrote that I want to build 5 emeralds and 1 diamond, and we're coming up here. I've got 3 months left. How the heck am I going to do that? And so then the doubt starts creeping in. Lastly, the other important part to self-limiting beliefs is gather your evidence. So Keisha Fitzgerald talks about this all the time, the drops in your confidence bucket. But what you need to do is find proof that your new belief about yourself is true, right? Like, so say we go back to my one on here is, I'm not able to grow my Instagram following. I've kind of hit, a lull. Well, if I'm telling myself, like, every new follower I get, right? Like, man, I got 2 new followers today. That's 2 new people. Like I posted in that Wannabe Emerald group, like how Chic Influencer posted, like, yeah, maybe you're mad because only 10 people are looking at your photo, but those 10 people turn into 100 people, which turn into, 200, 300. And so we've got to find those things that help you find, like, that truth. And for me, a lot of it honestly comes from a devotional, personal development, like those kinds of things are what really helps me push past my self-limiting beliefs so that we can say goodbye to it. Because I had to think hard when I thought about, like, my self-limiting beliefs to write down. I kind of had to dig a little deeper than just like the surface level. And so I think it's because my mindset, like, I literally, the affirmation, I haven't taken this affirmation down probably since I finished Bar Blend, but I am limitless is like literally the affirmation of my life, because I just tell myself, like, you want something, well, you're going to make it happen. Like, I've shown myself that a lot over the past year and a half, that if you want something, you'll make it happen. And so, I just realized this. Okay. I am limitless. I remove my self-inflicted boundaries to reach my fullest potential. Didn't even see that. Right? So I'm limitless. You are limitless. Remove those self-made boundaries so you can keep moving forward, because I'm sure a few of you guys feel stuck, right? You're like, no one is signing up. No one is doing anything, right? My challengers are falling off the wagon, and it's kind of like, well, what can you do to do that? Okay. Anything to add on self-limiting beliefs or comments, questions, concerns? Anything?
Hits me in the heart, and you're making me want to cry.
I hope that's a good thing. Like, this is the topic that needed to be talked about.
Yes, and I'm just emotional tonight, so.
That's fine. I'm always emotional. It's good. My kids, we watched a retiring address because I love.
Oh no.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. My kids got done with something like way earlier than I planned. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do with them? And so there's always some really good retiring addresses. And I pulled one of those up, and here I am literally in my classroom bawling. And my kids are like, okay, Mrs. Mueller. Like, and I'm just like crying, trying to be nonchalant about this retiring address. But, oh, love it. So the other thing I want to talk about is just refocusing in on our goals, because we're halfway through September. So we're halfway through another month. And where are you at with your goals? And then we're in the last, pretty soon here, we're going to be coming up on the last 90 days of the year. Like in 2 weeks, we'll have 90 days left of the year. And that's where like magic happens, because like I said, people start falling off the wagons. They say, the holiday season is just too crazy and stuff like that. Or people, I don't know, the common one is like, no one has money because it's the holiday season and everyone's buying presents and yada, yada, yada. And I get that. I think it's true. But I also think a lot of people, like, they eat 10 pounds of food at Thanksgiving and then are like, oh crap, I need to like fix this. Like I think that there's a good time for everyone. So there's people who aren't going to be ready this month, and they'll be ready next month, and so on. So I just want to take, again, 3 minutes. I'm hoping to keep this under half an hour because we're all exhausted. And just reflect on your goals. Like, I do this frequently, actually, because like my goal, I have a sticky note, is to make 10 grand this year with Beachbody. And so like I don't have it, it's upstairs. I have a chart, I color in every payday. And then I even reevaluated, like, okay, there's this many weeks left of the year. I think there's like 14 weeks left of the year. So I took what's left, I divided it by full, or 14 or whatever, and said, I need to make this much a month or a week. If I make this much a week on a paycheck, I will hit my goal and stuff. And so I'm just looking at here and seeing, like, how do I make it happen? And so just take a few minutes, reflect on those goals, and maybe you have different goals, right? Like, I hit my goal of being diamond. So now my goal for 2020 is to become team leader, which is the second step towards elite coach. And so maybe they've changed, right? I have on my board, pay off all our student loans. Well, to be really honest, we haven't paid any on our student loans since they went into forbearance, or whatever you call them, deferment. Yeah. Since they stopped all like interest and payments, and we've put all the money into the shop. And so it's like, your goals can change, because 9 months ago was a long time, and my goals 9 months ago and your goals 9 months ago might be different than your goals now. So just take 5 minutes and reflect on that, and think about what are your non-negotiables, what are going to get done before, what is going to happen in 2020. I also encourage you to write them down. So I've got a fresh little note card here. I'm going to write mine on. Unmute. Okay, just take a second to wrap up your thoughts. Okay. And then I am going to stop recording here